Hi, welcome. We're so glad you're here. For those who haven't participated in any sort of iRead webinar before, my name is Becca Boland. I am the iRead Content and Development Manager. I am so lucky and grateful to be joined by the fabulous humans you see on screen with me. They are members of the iRead committee. And also some of them are chairs for the next 3 years. All of that will come to light in the not too distant future. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Okay, let's do this. Share it up. Okay. Um, my colleagues, can you see what's happening on the screen right now? Thumbs up, double thumbs up. Love that. So welcome. We are going to cover a lot in the next hour, so buckle up. Um, we are going to start with a lot of information about 2025. This is meant to be kind of a kickoff for you all when you're thinking about and planning 2025. This is a presentation that we do every year at the Illinois Library Association, but it's so great and it's so helpful, and not even everybody in Illinois got to see it. So we decided we were going to do it as a webinar as well, and give everybody an opportunity to get really excited about leveling up at their library. So let's rock and roll. I'm going to hand it over to Maisie.
Awesome. Thanks, Becca. Hi, my name is Maisie. I'm a teen librarian with the Naperville Public Library, and I'm also the chair for 2025, which is Level Up at Your Library. I'm going to quickly start us off by reviewing our mission statement for kind of the vibe of 2025. Play is one of the ways we learn to relate to others, to think in new ways, and to foster friendships new and old. Level Up at Your Library is an all-ages summer reading program based around puzzles and games. Whether you're playing with STEAM concepts or gamifying your reading logs, learning to play chess, or how to code video games, iRead 2025 Level Up at Your Library reminds us that libraries are not just a space for knowledge, they are a space for fun. We are really, really lucky this year to be featuring some amazing artists to kind of set the tone for that theme. First up, we have Ruth Chan. She's the artist behind Have You Seen Gordon, which, if you're not familiar with it, it is basically Where's Waldo with a comedic and heartfelt twist. Gordon is actually our spokescritter. We are big Gordon stans here. Her art is so cute and quirky. I really love it. We are also featuring Oge Mora, her art is this beautiful collage work that really brings me like so many playground feels. And it has this great schoolyard yard vibe. Oge is an award-winning artist, and we are so excited to have her art featured. If you, like me, work with teenagers, you know that D&D is like everything to them right now. And oh, if you are I think they'll really get a lot out of Carrie Peach's art. Plus, who doesn't love a dragon with some books? He is the best. And last but certainly not least, if Vanessa Brantley Newton's art looks familiar, that is because she actually designed all of last season's Target wrapping paper. She is the best of the best. Her art is so fun and so nostalgic, and like retro in such a fun way. I love it so much, and I think that brightness really embodies this theme. Um, and speaking of this theme, we've launched our website. You can go up and see all the cool things we have. But I want to highlight some of the fun products we have this year, especially the ones featuring some of those artists. As always, we just have like the cutest shirts. They are always so cute. They're always so comfy. And this year we have a bunch of super fun designs. And they also make my school visits so much simpler because I don't have to worry about what to wear. I just have a t-shirt. We also have been trying to up the number of kits and games we have because our goal is to really make summer reading easier to implement. So we really want to make it kind of things you can just pull out of the box and use. And of course, we have some super fun incentives. My two favorite this year are a color change cup featuring Have You Seen Gordon, and nose aerobics, which are glasses with a basketball hoop that I will be bringing to every middle school outreach. Um, all right, so speaking of trying to make summer reading easier, I want to plug the resource guide. We're going to talk more about it, but I am a huge fan of the iRead resource guide. I get a lot of like programming fatigue partway through summer, and the iRead resource guide like saves my butt every time. It's one, if you haven't looked through it, I really recommend getting it. There's so many resources from like puzzles that you can just print, games you can play with kids. There's a full D&D campaign. There's a lot of fun things to check out. All right. Um, Again, highlighting some of that art, but then I also want to encourage you to reach out or to follow us on social media. We try and share ideas all year round, especially we just opened our Facebook group for the year. Um, if you are a Facebook user, it's a great spot to get inspiration, especially if you are trying to figure out, how to implement this theme best for your library. And last but not least, before we move on, I want to highlight our public service announcement, which was actually animated for us through the team that did Have You Seen Gordon's show? And we're going to hope it plays correctly.
Apparently, I thought I might have been a bot, so let's try this a different way. Um, beep boop bop boop. Here is
If
the
Zoom doesn't
PSA.
refuse to play your video, is it even a Zoom call?
I I mean, I truly don't think it is. All right, let's try this way. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for the ads now because if I try to expand it, it's gonna pause the share. Because Zoom is fun. But I think you'll get a really good sense of it. And like Maisie said, um, next summer they are launching a animated series based on Have You Seen Gordon? And the team that is working on that project made this amazing PSA for us. So enjoy.
Gordon, do you want to play hide and seek?
Sure.
Have you seen Gordon? Is he eating a hot dog?
No.
Is he sitting on a bus stuck in traffic?
No.
Is he painting a picture in the park?
No.
Or is he heading to the library wearing a colorful shirt that makes him very easy to see? Hey, Gordon, you're supposed to be hiding.
I don't want to hide. I want to be the one looking for a great book to read this summer.
Have you leveled up at your library? There's a summer reading program for everyone.
That's a great idea. I should sign up too.
Visit your library today.
Level up at your library with summer reading programs for kids, teens, adults, and tapers.
Okay. So going, I threw the PSA link in the chat, just in case, but you also should have it in your resource guide. So, and just remember you are able and encouraged to remix it however works for your library, add information about your summer reading, add your logo, add your website, whatever the case may be. You are welcome to remix this PSA to put it up in your libraries or bring it to outreach or send it to the local TV show or TV station, whatever works for you. This is available. Ooh, now it's gonna, there we go. Okay. Um, so we're gonna kick off with some ideas. Caitlin, you ready to rock?
I am. Hello, everyone. My name is Caitlin Mathers, and I am an adult services librarian at the Palatine Library District. I was, however, in a former life a children's librarian, so I am going to present some ideas for children's programs for Level Up at your library this summer. The first one we have is a Candyland toddler sensory play. So if you've ever done any kind of toddler sensory play, this is a nice fun spin on it, making it a Candyland theme. It's great for the age group of 1 through 3 where you do multiple different sensory stations. And like I said, it'll all be tied to Candyland. An obvious dress for message is implied here. But they have about 6 to 8 stations where you do about 45 minutes to explore and free play wherever they want. Some of the great station activities that we've come up with for a resource guide is there's Gumdrop Lake, which is a plastic wading pool filled with balls. Rainbow Trail, which is river stones on the floor. There's some great rubber stepping stones that you can get that help promote balance and coordination for that. Just a general Candyland theme station where you have candy themed wrapping paper, tissue paper, ribbon, wrapped boxes, and cupcake toys. Peppermint Forest, which you could do rice dyed red and white with a peppermint scent sprayed on there. Then you have King's Candy Castle, where you can laminate. There's a picture of this up on top. Ice cream cones and get paintbrushes to do Cool Whip in various colors. You can use Kool-Aid packets to make those colors and scents. Then you could do a chocolate swamp with cocoa Play-Doh, cookie cutters, Play-Doh toys. Then there's Lollipop Woods, Princess Lolly, where you can do lollipop painting. So you could do big butcher paper to do it together or smaller, and freeze water with color, food coloring in the popsicles where they can draw with that. And lastly, for this one, we have Princess Frostine's Ice Palace, in which you can play with Insta Snow. So that is our first one. The next one we have is a story time. Developing story times, especially in-depth ones, can take a lot of time, so I definitely recommend looking in the resource guide for different story times. And this one's rhyme games based around the book Rhyme Crime. And you use index cards to help pair with this to create rhymes. Ask patrons to raise their hands or point to their ears every time they hear a rhyme. Encourage patrons to come up with a rhyme for orange, allow laughter to ensue. After reading the book, use those index cards with pictures for words that you want to help create the rhymes. So for example, you have a picture of a cat or a picture of a frog and help them come up with rhymes. Additional books to use I have below are Frog on a Log, Nothing Rhymes with Orange, and Rhyming Dust Bunnies. There's the Bippity Boppity Boo rhyme that you can pair with pictures. There's a lot to do with this one. Next, we have Coding Without Screens. This is great for some of our younger kids, and especially if you don't have access to a whole lot of technology to use with your kids. Coding without screens helps, without screens, not screens, helps for that. So you're looking at the basics of codings with logic and puzzles at this. Kids can work together to play the games and solve problems. This works generally really well as an hour-long program, again, with different stations. Participants can rotate on a schedule or move around on their own, depending on which works best for your library. Some of the stations ideas that you can do, you can have board games, Battleship. There's a game Quirkle, which combines the play of dominoes and Scrabble as the perfect combination of skill and chance, requiring tactical maneuvers, using Rubik's Cubes, brain teaser games, the game Mastermind for kids. Another one is worksheets. You can do basic crossword puzzles, coloring sheets, word scrambles, logic puzzles. Pictured here, we also have the Replicate a Block Challenge. So having those large Jenga blocks available and have pictures of different structures, and participants have to direct their partners to put the blocks in the proper order, only using words and not showing the photos, giving a step-by-step. And finally, having Bitmoji storytelling, having a lot of different Bitmojis and emojis printed out with glue and blank paper, and having create their own stories. Next, we have Minecraft foam squishies. This one is a pretty simple craft to do. You get a foam mattress topper and you cut it into cubes. You can cut it ahead of time, or depending on materials you have available, you can have them cut in person. This is also great to do with teen volunteers if you've got some trusted ones to have them cut those foams out ahead of time. And you just use fabric paint or Sharpies. If you use the fabric paint, we recommend some time overnight to dry. And you can do this with any game. It doesn't have to be Minecraft. This would work with several different types of video games or board games. And then lastly, we've got a good passive program in here, Brain Games, where you can post a challenge each week during your program. Topics can relate to the theme or be general to children's trivia, but this is where you just can create a board and have 9 different pictures up where they have to have answer sheets for the names of what they are. Ideas for questions that you can do are video game characters, book characters, movie, TV, classic board games, famous people, famous places, inventions, food. And you just need a poster board or foam core with clear pockets, index cards, and make half quarter sheets that you can use each week. It's pretty simple to do. And that's what we have for our children's programming.
Hi again. So when I'm not doing iRead, I'm busy being a teen librarian. So I want to shout out some great programs to do with your teens for this theme. Did you know June 27th is National Bingo Day? I did not know this until recently, but I do want to highlight book cover bingo. It's such a classic. I remember playing this as a teen. It's a great way to kind of shout out some favorite books, a great way to solicit, your teen volunteers for the things they're reading because you need to build that book bingo. Plus, teens secretly low-key love bingo. It's really cute. I don't know why they are all obsessed with it, though. We love to see it. Right. I also am going to break everyone's heart, which is that I have been informed by my teens that the Nintendo Switch, or not the Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Wii is now a retro console. And I know that's, my back hurts just thinking about it. But I will say that this is a great time to break out those old consoles that I feel like everyone has at least one or two of hidden away in their libraries, and kind of play some of those throwback titles. Speaking of retro gaming, I love, love, love using perler beads to recreate kind of 8-bit and 16-bit art. It's such a fun craft. It's such a fun medium, super accessible. I once had a teen freehand a 2-foot tall Demogorgon from Stranger Things. They really are just like such a fun medium, and they work perfectly with this theme. Speaking of accessible mediums, I have had so much luck making pom-pom Pokemons from make and take kits. There's even a book that teaches you how to make all these designs so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But it's so cute to make these different pocket monsters. And I feel like yarn and felt are accessible, cheap mediums that I feel like I always have in my craft closet. So it's a great low cost make and take. And finally, I've been running Teen D&D programs since 2018, and I've never had them stop being popular. We, like I said, have a little one-shot campaign in our resource guide. Loki teaches them about the Dewey Decimal System, but I also want to encourage you to look beyond D&D if you want to have role-playing games for your students. If you work with younger folks, there are a lot of games that work well for as young as like 5. And we actually have a lot of those resources in the resource guide as well. But I am a big fan of playing tabletop role play games with patrons. All right. And I will hand it off to Nikki.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki. I am the Programs and Exhibits Librarian at the Arlington Heights Memorial Library. And summer reading is not just for the kiddos, it's also for adults. So we do have some programs for adults in the resource guide. The first one we have is Adult Recess. And it is a throwback to field day from when you were in school, and you have adults team up and play different games like spoon races with eggs, water and balloon tosses, obstacle courses, wringing out the sponge into the buckets. We did this at Arlington Heights, and the adults absolutely loved it. They got really competitive, and it brought back a sense of nostalgia. The second one we have is a class opportunity to level up different skills that adults might not know, like bike repair, financial literacy, first aid. A big one for us was jumping a car. A lot of people came to that one for us and felt comfortable doing it after we had somebody teach them. We had somebody request a class on how to do laundry. It was somebody from he came back from college and he's like, I have never done laundry. So this is a great opportunity to have some level up skills classes. We also have the Artemis Spaceship Bridge Simulator, which I don't know how many people may have gone to space camp in 5th grade, but I got to go, and you get to be a part of a space crew. So you have a captain, a medical team, somebody who uses the like lasers, and you get to have a um, simulation of flying in airspace game. This can all go on your computer. There is a cost to have the game downloaded, but once you have it, you can use it forever. So that is available as well. It is also good for kids, but it's recommended that if you're going to have kids, have them play separately from an adult because there is different simulations available. The next one is calm puzzling. So put on some music, have some cozy beverages like hot chocolate, tea, although not in the summer. So like iced tea and lemonade. And patrons can work on jigsaw puzzles, socialize with neighbors and friends. If they would rather not socialize and they just want some place to maybe body double or things like that, they can work on puzzles themselves. A lot of libraries have puzzles available for checkout, so you can grab some from there, but sometimes patrons will bring puzzles of their own for us when we have this as well and build them there. And yeah, it's a great way to have a collaborative space, but still maybe be able to work on something on your own. And finally, we have games trivia. So this is an example from at a trivia we did. It was Parks and Rec themed, but you can have a trivia that is the categories are all different types of games, like board games, video games, RPG, history of games, and then have fun prizes available that connect to games like old school Mario stuff, and maybe a Switch game, things like that. It's also a great way to partner with local organizations. We did our trivia at a place called Empty Corner, which is a local business, and we work with them. And it was their space is BYOB, so people got to bring alcohol and do some trivia. So that's what we had. And I pass it over to Jessica. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Nikki. I'm Jessica. I am an adult librarian at the Plainfield Area Public Library. I'm going to talk to you today about all ages programming. Our first one is Giant Sudoku, so it would be a passive program by printing out a large 9x9 Sudoku puzzle, putting in your fixed numbers here that you see on the screen, and then using Velcro squares or something of that nature to have patrons then go up and put the numbers up, potentially solving the puzzle or making the next person really mad, like I would be. So yeah, that one would be really fun, hopefully. Games of yesteryear would encourage patrons of various ages to team up. Hopefully you would get ideally younger players who would want to learn how to play games from older patrons or family members or even staff. It's always encouraged to make sure that you know the games that they'll be playing just in case someone needs an extra friend to play with. You would pick a game and learn it, and then at the start of the program, you teach the game and break up into groups and to play as you go along. This one is a little special for me. This is my pup Bailey. I put this in the resource guide. You need a Cricut, Maker Explorer. You could probably do it with a Joy too. Just some thin cardboard cereal boxes would be really, really great if you could get donations of that. So you would use the Cricut software and upload your photo, and then we have a resource in the resource guide for this puzzle exactly that you could do it and then cut out that with your paper and stuff. So it would be really fun for gifts or, you know, keeping a memory alive like I am with this one. So our next one is painting miniatures. Dungeons and Dragons fans, but there are other tabletop games that this would appeal to. I know when I was a teen librarian, I had a lot of parents who actually wanted to play with their teens and coming together as a family. So this would be something really great to do all together as well. There are options that you could buy unpainted miniatures for specific games. If you have a 3D printer in your library, that is a good way to tie 3D printing in and get to be creative in that way. Next one is screen-free video games, working together to solve some challenges based on popular video games. Mario, Angry Birds, Tetris. Again, I can see Angry Birds being very fun or very aggravating. For Angry Birds, you would need slingshots and blocks, stuffed birds or pigs. So this one was a little bit more in depth. Maisie talked earlier about using the perler beads, and this is another way that you can do that. You can use perler beads to create players and structures based in the game. Brain teaser games for Tetris. There are a lot of wooden like memory block games that are very similar as well that you can do and put out. You can do it as you did like the Sudoku and have just a big board and shapes that they can stick up on the wall to try to solve it that way as well. And I'm going to pass it on over to Ellen.
Hi, I'm Ellen Fitzgerald. I'm from the Naperville Public Library, and I am here to talk about different outreach ideas that you can use from our resource guide and with the iREAD theme. So we're going to start out with some of the Gordon artwork and some of the book from Have You Seen Gordon? So lots of times whenever I go on an outreach, I usually bring a PowerPoint presentation. And so a really fun way to engage your audience when you're on an outreach like that is to hide some of our little bits of spot art in there. And so I did that. So over the next couple of slides, you guys can play your own version of Have You Seen Gordon and try and see if you can find these little characters hiding in the different spot art or in the different slides. So a fun thing that you can do, again, if you're doing a presentation, you can use Kahoot. I'm a big fan of it. If you don't have a Kahoot subscription or didn't want to use that, you can also just create your own handouts of different titles. This is a really good reader's advisory way to get information out to your audience, and again, to use some of the different artwork and items from our resource guide in your presentations and outreaches. Okay. Next up, I know whenever I go for outreach, I usually have a big sign. So a fun thing that you could do is create a big sign with a secret hidden code, and the different customers or visitors would have to come up to your table and decode their your sign to be able to read it. So just a fun fact, I use crypty.com to create this code, and you could create your own code, and it would be a fun way to incorporate games into your outreach programs. And did you see the bear? He's there. Another really fun idea is, again, using our spot art to create movement dice. It was crypty.com. So I can drop that into the comment field in a second. So if you use spot art to create movement dice, so you have jump, spin, wave, hopscotch, surf, jog in place. These are all different fun games that you can do, and it's really great for different outreaches. Like we go to the YMCA sometimes, and we love to use movement dice just to encourage movement with our outreaches. We promote our programs. So this is another good way that you can use the resource guide and some of the other items we have. All right, and then our last but not least is some great outreach ideas for adults or teens. Are using some classic games like writing out literacy questions on Jenga pieces. Which 3 book characters would you take on a road trip with you? This is a good way to interact with the customers that are coming up to your table and incorporate games and literacy into your outreach programs. Again, MASH, if you are a Gen X or millennial, you can hit them in the nostalgia by using the MASH template that is available in the resource guide to create a fun interactive experience for your outreach attendees. And it was short and sweet, but I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Kara.
Hello, my name is Kara DiCarlo. I work at the Orland Park Public Library, and I'm here to talk to you about decorations and displays. Up first, we have these hanging puzzle pieces. The template for this is in the resource guide. You can print things on it, or alternatively, you can print out a bunch and have your patrons or customers color on them and then put them together to make like a big community mural. The resource guide is on the iREAD website. Up next, you can take inspiration from popular games and use that to decorate your space. Here we've got Uno, where you're using the Uno cards to create like a curtain. The shapes from the Candyland can become 3D objects. I am the head of the decorating committee at my library, and we use a lot of cardboard that we paint with stuff because, you know, all of our books come in boxes. Up next, we've got video game bulletin boards. You can recreate some of your favorite old school games on a bulletin board. And how cute is this, Mario? It's adorable. And then Tetris tiles, like Jessica had mentioned earlier, here you can just put them up for decoration, or you can make them adhesive with Velcro and let your patrons stick them to a felt board. And just it's a good way to incorporate the gaming aspect and the decoration aspect and give people things to do while they're in the building. And then Giant Connect 4, same thing. The grid here is just painter's tape. So you could do painter's tape and then do adhesive Velcro in each square. And then those circles are plates. And you can do adhesive Velcro on the back of each plate, and then people can play Giant Connect 4. And now it's Becca's turn.
Hi, it's me. I'm still Becca. So I wanted to highlight this resource guide is huge. And it's about twice as large as they have been previously, just because it was such a great year and people had so many great ideas. So it's really easy for stuff to get lost in the shuffle, I think. So we wanted to make sure that we called out some of the stuff that we're really, really excited about. And I'm going to start with this. So we worked with a woman who is part of Guardian Adventures, and she developed this whole cool RPG character sheet based on the reading that the kids are doing. So you take attributes from the books that you read through the summer to develop a character that then you can play as part of an RPG. And she has all ideas about how to implement it. and how you can use it in the library once those character sheets are developed. I thought it was so cool and so clever and such a fun way to incorporate the reading that we're doing over the summer with the games that we're playing. I just think it's so clever. We have a ton of printables. We work with a number of different partners. Sometimes they're folks that we work with regularly. Sometimes it's folks that we work with around a particular theme. One of our favorite library resources is Creative Bug. They have been so kind to create this template for a chatterbox for us. There's a lot of, they've been called fortune tellers, they're called cootie catchers, which is not my favorite name for them, but they have this really fun template, and all you have to do is print it out, and then people can make and take them. It could inspire kids to make their own, which would be really, really fun too. It would be a fun thing to do and have out before a program starts, while you're waiting for everybody to get in and get settled. So that is really fun, really cool. Um, oh, I can never say their name correctly. Um, Maisie, where are you?
Deer Nicorn, like a
Deer
unicorn, but a
Unicorn.
deer.
Right, exactly, precisely. I should have known. Okay, Deer Nicorn gave us this amazing guide to tabletop RPGs for libraries and schools. It's something that they've developed and they share with individual libraries, but they were so kind as to give it to us to put in our resource guide. It's a great like getting started, jumping off place. If you'd like to start doing some role-playing games in your libraries, how to do it, how to implement it. That along with the resources, Maisie created a really great list of role-playing games that aren't necessarily D&D. And they also wrote this really amazing one-shot D&D campaign around the Dewey Decimal System, which they mentioned earlier. So even if you have never done any sort of role-playing games, D&D in your um library, we have the resources to make that happen for you. One card maze, again, really cool thing to like print out, have around in the library. It's a really cool company that makes these little like single card sized mazes. And there's rules about the way that you can turn it and flip it and this and that and the other thing. And it's like just a little fun little pocket maze. So it would be such a cool like incentive. It'd be cool if you printed out and laminated it. It'd be cool if you just have them laying around the library. They're really neat and they did them for us and they're so kind. So check it out. And there's tons of other ones if your folks get into them. You can access all of the one card mazes for your library. Um, so we also have Globetrotter Gordon. So if you are looking for a flat Stanley-like experience this summer, Gordon can either go around your community or he can be taken on summer trips or he can be taken to outreach. We left him in line art so that folks can color him. Maybe he wants a change of wardrobe. He's over the orange shirt with the blue flowers and he wants a green shirt with purple flowers. I don't know. It's up to the kids. So that's a really fun, really easy, again, printout that's just ready and available for you. So this is something that I'm really, really excited about. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. If you're here, you might already be aware of this, but we have worked with the lovely humans that created the Reading Dragons program out of Dover in Ohio. It is a Pokemon-like trading game where kids, as they read, collect dragon cards. It starts with an egg because it's a baby, and then it hatches, and you have the baby card, and then it grows up a little bit, and you got a teenage dragon, and then it has its full adult form. So as you read, you're collecting these. You can play kind of a rock, paper, scissors like game with them. They have rules about the red, the blue, and the green. It's like, blue beats red and red beats green and green beats blue kind of a situation. But they've done this so much, and there's been so many libraries across the country that have implemented this program. They have so many cool ideas for programming around it, so you could do full programs. And thank you, Janet. We also think it's so stinking cute. And Carrie Peach, who is one of the artists that Maisie highlighted earlier, was so kind and worked with us to create some original reading dragon art. So this is going to be art that for next summer is exclusive to the iRead resource guide. So if you are already someone who is implementing the dragon program in your library, like Anna, then you'll have all of these really cool, really exclusive, beautifully colored and designed art for the Reading Dragons. Heck yeah, Jennifer. I love it. So we are doing a webinar around Reading Dragons. Carrie Peach is going to be there to talk about the art. The two women who created the program are going to be there to talk a little bit more about it. I'm going to be there to support all of them and answer questions when I can. Hopefully you all will be able to join us for that as well. And much like this one, if you aren't able to attend live, we will send out a recording after the program. So sign up, even if you're a little intrigued, come out, find out a little bit about it. It doesn't even have to be for summer if you don't want it to be. You can end up using it for your winter program. I believe that's what Kara's library does. So it's just really fun. I'm going to pass it back over to my friend Ellen, and she's going to tell you a little bit about 2026 because we're the kind of folks who are already thinking about 26 and 27. So Ellen, take it away.
Yeah, hi. Good to see y'all again. I tried to trick you by switching out my picture, but it's me. Um, so I'm super excited about 2026. I'm the chair for that year. So our theme for this year is Plant a Seed, Read. It's rooted in the concept of farm to table. A farm grows food that nourishes our bodies, and a library grows ideas that nourish our mind. Both food and stories connect us to our family, culture, economy, and ecology. iREAD 2026 Plant a Seed, Read will provide a context for exploring culture, history, science, health, and human connection. So that's some of our placeholder art, and I'm really excited to share with you some of the artists that we will be working with in 2026. So first up, we have Hatem Ali. You may be familiar with some of his work. He did the Yasmin series. He was the illustrator for all the Adam Gidwitz books, including The Inquisitor's Tale. His Unicorn Rescue Society is an excellent read. I highly recommend it. He illustrated all of that. And of course, How to Feed Your Parents and The Proudest Blue. So we're very excited for the artwork that he will be bringing to Plant a Seed, Read. And then next up, we have Wendy Zhu. Wendy Zhu, you can see her artwork in Mooncakes, The Infinity Particle, and Tide Song. And we have a little sneak peek of some of her sketches there. We've gotten to see some of her sample artwork, and let me tell you, it is fantastic. I cannot wait until we can share all of that with you. She is just wonderful. And then one of our bigger and more well-known illustrators is Pete Oswald. You may have heard of The Good Egg and the Bad Seed, Sleepy Sheepy, Couch Potato, The Cool Bean, Poultrygeist. We are really excited that a lot of the original artwork that they have created will be used and incorporated into Plant a Seed, Read. So, and we are also working with Sarah Ferrone. She is an absolutely fantastic illustrator who does a lot of work with cookbooks, and she just really fits the theme so well. Her artwork is gorgeous, and I think it really adds kind of a more mature touch that would be really wonderful working with our adult audiences. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. I can't wait until we can roll out some more of this artwork for you in 2026. So that brings me to our resource guide. So we just showed you a bunch of really cool stuff in the 2025 resource guide, but we need more information for the 2026 resource guide. It is the heart of the program. It is created by librarians for librarians. We need your ideas. And if you have artwork that can be reproduced and different ideas for themes and things, you can go ahead and add those to some of those submissions. And I'm gonna move on to the next slide, and I'm just gonna push it further. You are the I in iREAD. So please get the word out, let your colleagues know if you have any really good ideas that fit into the theme, Plant a Seed, Read. We're always looking for them. It doesn't necessarily even have to be program ideas. We are always looking for different decoration ideas. We're looking for articles for getting started. If you have a whole bunch of cool jokes about plants and food, please submit those. So we need your ideas to create our wonderful and beautiful resource guide. Instead, we have getting started, programming, decorations and displays, bibliography fees and other resources, craft and makerspace ideas. The deadline for the submission is January 31st, 2025. And I'm gonna drop the link into the chat so you guys can all submit your resource guide ideas today if you want to. So we're really looking forward to them, and thank you all for considering. And I hope you leave here today with a ton of ideas and also are ready to share being part of the iREAD resource guide team with everyone. By the way, you will also get a really cool certificate that says that you contributed to the resource guide and you will be published. So all different wonderful reasons to submit to the resource guide. So do it today. And I'm going to pass it on into the future to Kara.
Who is ready to talk about 2027? I know it seems like a really far away, but it'll be here before you know it. So we are super excited for 2027 because our theme this year is science fiction. And our tagline is reading expands our universe. And our mission statement, science fiction encourages us to dream big, take risks, and imagine a future enhanced by human innovation. Libraries make contemporary technology accessible and provide access to stories that encourage patrons of all ages to explore a world greater than themselves. The beauty of science fiction is that there is a niche for everyone, whether you want robot butlers, dream of a solar-powered utopia, or yearn for time travel. These stories have brought us into the furthest reaches of space, shrunk us down so that we can explore the jungle of our own backyards, and helped readers to examine what it means to lead a human life on Earth. With iREAD 2027, reading expands our universe. We invite libraries and their patrons to dream big, take risks, and enjoy a summer of exploration and imagination. Did anyone have any questions?
Hey, we had a couple of folks ask about the resource guide, and I just wanted to go a little bit more in depth. If you are someone who is from a state that is one of an iRead partner state, you are going to get your resource guide through the state. And so if you're not sure how to do that, please reach out. I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. iRead at ila.org. If you're like, I think we got this, I don't know. It's only one per library, so it's also possible that maybe a colleague has already requested and downloaded it, which isn't a problem. You'll be able to access it, but we only want you to use one of those codes per library. But we also want to make sure that everybody has what they need. If you are an Illinois library, again, reach out to iRead at ila.org. If you haven't received your resource guide yet and you are an institutional member of the Illinois Library Association, you are entitled to one. So please send that. If you are at a library that does not have a pre-existing relationship with iRead, that's fine too. That resource guide is a $15 digital download, and it is available on the website right now. So feel the when you purchase it, it is available to you. It's an instant access situation. So please access the resource guide however you can. Also, just for you all who are like, this is great, but I want more. I am going to be doing a couple of deep dives of the resource guide, because in doing this job for a year and a half, I've come to realize that what people most want from me is for me to read the resource guide aloud to them. Which, I get it, like, it's big, there's a lot of information there, it's hard to make the time, to sit down, but it really behooves you to do so, because there is so much good content in there. Taking some time, some quality time with the resource guide, now is the time to break out that hot cocoa and that tea, sit down, get cozy, figure out the puzzle that is the 2025 resource guide, and decide, what works for you, what works for your library, what you might want to pass along to your colleagues because you think is really cool and fun. And then I'm going to also be doing some office hours as well. So we'll have an opportunity to talk in small groups or one-on-one, kind of depending on who shows up. If you have something that's just really stumping you, for 2024, it was a lot of like people weren't sure how to decorate. So we talked a lot about that in our one-on-one discussions. But also sometimes it's just nice to have somebody else listen to you and say like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. Does that make sense? I was thinking about doing this, but I'm not really sure how to execute it. Do you have any ideas?" And if I am not available, or you're not available, at my one-on-one office hour time, which will be forthcoming, you can always email iRead@ila.org and just say like, "Hey, this is a sticky wicket and I can't figure it out. Can we talk it out?" And we can email back and forth. We could schedule a time to meet. Um, and thank you to Tam who put those two deep dives. We're starting with programming because I know that weirdly you would think you would start with decorating, but no, we're starting with programming because I know at least one person that's presenting here today has all of their summer programs have to be submitted in January. So I'm starting with programming, maybe two people because they work for the same library. um, so I want to make sure that we're talking about programs and all of that other stuff. And I'm going to do a little bit more of that deep dive reminder. Hey, this is a cool thing in the resource guide, tips and tricks kind of stuff. So I would love to have you all come for that as well. I am not seeing any questions and answers in the chat. I'm not seeing any in the question and answer bubble. Is there anything else that we can cover? Any questions we can answer? This is like most of the time when you're coming to webinars, you're just dealing with me and myself. You have all of these amazing humans here who are active librarians working in libraries, have been doing summer reading forever and ever, have been part of iRead. Some of these people have been part of iRead, I think, since 1981 when it started. They're a great group of folks. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you for asking, Debbie. So this is the tropical Gordon shirt. We like to call this particular fashion choice Gordon Inception because it's Gordon wearing his shirt. Oop, and then he goes away. Gordon wearing his shirt under me wearing his shirt. Oh yeah, is that Caitlin? Yes, Caitlin has her Gordon shirt on as well. So these are available in the store now, and you can get a bucket hat that matches and is reversible because that's the kind of group we are. Yeah, triple exclamation point is correct, is the correct response to this. That's a great question, Crystal. You know what? Yes, sometimes we underestimate how many shirts we need, but as long as you are placing your orders within the windows sooner rather than later, we can make sure we get more printed. We've never, knock wood, we've been able to get people the shirts they wanted. Thank you, Leanne. We have always been able to get more shirts reprinted. So heck yeah, we can put where the shirts are available. It would be my pleasure. Hold, please. One of my colleagues do it for me. Thank you. The dragon shirts are going to come in youth. No, so it's the Gordon shirt that is our youth-sized shirt. But remember, this is a tip and trick of the resource guide. You get all of the t-shirt art in the art files. So if you want to make kids shirts, you can make kids shirts. You can do the like print it out and iron it on way, or you can send it to a local printer and do it as your prizes if you want to do, and then you can throw like your library logo and stuff out there as well. So that's one of the nice things about iREAD, one of the many nice things. Oh, you guys are so sweet. What a great way to start our week. Um, is that all of the incentive imprint art and the t-shirt imprint art and the posters and the bookmarks and the log, everything is in the resource guide. So if you want to make it your own, you can. If you want to buy it through the store because it takes 2 seconds to click on that and have it sent to your library, that's cool too. You do what works best for you and your library, and we will support you. It's as easy as that. We wish that we could have all of the shirts in all of the sizes and all of the artists in, but we're a pretty small operation here. So so we have to make some difficult decisions. But it also is available on, it's also weird stuff about like supply chains and t-shirt color availability and a multitude of sizing and, weird stuff that nobody wants to talk about. Hi, welcome, Amy. When will the recording for this meeting to go out? That's a great question. Someone is going to put the link to the store in the chat for you, Amy. Julia, the recording for this meeting will go out hopefully soon. We're gonna get it. Sometimes it takes Zoom a little while to get it downloaded, and then we'll put it up and send it out. So hopefully in the next few days, by the end of the week at the absolute latest. And we do encourage you to share it with your friends and your colleagues. Oh, Tam is on it. Recording will be available by Wednesday. Yes, Gordon is a taper. Officially. A purple one. It took us a hot second, and then once we realized what he was, we were like, oh, Gordon, what a delight you are. Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns? I know that often I get out of these webinars and then I realize that I have a bunch of questions. So like I said, I will send out the recording. It will have contact info in it. So don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to help you however we can. Thank you all for spending an hour with us. You all are fabulous. I can't wait to see what you're doing. And this is a shameless plug. Send me pictures of the cool stuff you are doing next summer because I want to see it. Or if you have an idea that you're so excited about that you didn't get into the resource guide, send that to me too. I will share it with the people. If you don't get our newsletter, it's time. Sign up for the newsletter. It is going to be such a fun summer. I absolutely agree. Thank you all so much for your time and your attention. And hopefully we will see you all soon. Take care. Goodbye.